Zerg player, formerly FXO, now FOU. It is LeenocK. And his opponent in the Northeast, with several second place finishes, looking for his first championship from Team Evil Geniuses, it is Jaedong.
Looks like an angry man, looks like an angry nerd already here. And this is the start of Jaedong's tournament. His first game here at the DreamHack Winter Finals, the conclusion of an epic year of Starcraft 2 within DreamHack Open. 4 fantastic stops being Stockholm, DreamHack Summer, DreamHack Valencia, then Bucharest before landing here in the DreamHack Winter Finals back in Jönköping once more. And we do have a very early pause in this game, so we will be jumping into it momentarily. Do you think Jaedong can win this tournament?
I think if anybody can, if anybody has the momentum behind them to carry them through it, Jaedong is certainly one of them. LeenocK, as we said, hasn't really been putting up quite the results that we might expect from a player of his caliber. He doesn't have quite that force of tournament results recently to really carry him with a good mindset into this. Of course, don't know quite what he's thinking, but if there's anybody you don't want to play in ZvZ, it's Jaedong.
That's right. Jaedong has been, he's always been known for having an excellent Zerg versus Zerg. Back in his Brood War days, in StarCraft 2 as well, he gets the matchup. His control is fantastic, and he has a high win record. Unfortunately for him, that wasn't enough to carry him to a victory when he had to face off against Hyun in Valencia. But nevertheless, a new tournament, a new day, a new start here for Lee Jaedong at DreamHack Winter. And it is going to be a long tournament. 19 players, $75,000 on the line here. One of the biggest tournaments of the year. And well, it's time to get into Group D. These two players, LeenocK had a default win as his first game over Wellmu, unfortunately, who couldn't make it to the tournament due to sickness. And it is Jaedong's first game, so basically their first game each.
Yeah, and it's also important to consider for everybody in this group that because Wellmu wasn't in there, there's no fear of elimination from this particular group. So it all comes down to the seeding. The top 2 players in this group advance onto the winner's bracket, basically get an extra life in the bracket stage of the tournament, and the bottom 2 will fall into the loser's bracket where they're basically playing sudden death from the get-go.
Well, it's very, we talked about it, I don't know if you were there, but we talked about it a lot backstage, how important the seeding actually is. With the level of competition here, being first and second place can be the difference between playing life, MMA, first and second, and the other group can be the difference between Patience and Naniwa. It's a big, big difference depending on where you are seeded. Both players will be fighting for that, as you say, Wellmu not being in the group, which means 4 players will go through no matter what. But as we can see, the 2 builds, hatchery first, straight into spawning pool. No gas is taken yet, and this is actually something which has become ever so popular in the recent Zerg vs. Zerg game.
It's been interesting. There's, I think we saw a lot of this actually from some of the Zerg players, at least at the Intel Extreme Masters New York, where a lot of heavy gasless styles into roach-based compositions off of double evolution chamber with basically just a wall off the natural to keep your opponent away. And since both players are kind of going for this super late gas style, there's not really much of a way that either can punish the other.
And both of them are going to see it too. So with the first Overlord here from Jaedong that goes in and scouts, LeenocK's Overlord, actually where's LeenocK's Overlord, the first one? It actually went down south. Okay, so he actually has not gathered that information, which is very surprising because you'd usually be scouting up north first of all, very similar to what Jaedong just did. So in that regard, Jaedong is at an advantage because he is playing the exact same style his opponent is, but LeenocK has no idea about that. Jaedong can be even greedier than his opponent can be here.
Yeah, it's important to take into consideration that since Jaedong knows there's no real threat of an attack, this sort of style that is, you could commonly say is vulnerable to speedling timings, LeenocK still has to play with that possibility because Jaedong's not someone that does this every single game. Jaedong is a player that will occasionally open up with the gas and bring those fast Zergling Baneling attacks. LeenocK has a few Zerglings coming over to scout this, but shouldn't really be able to make it too far into Jaedong's base.
That's right. A couple of Queens should be able to block this off here, and already you can see the difference between the 2 players. A Spine Crawler, a defensive structure here because he doesn't know quite what's going on. A drone block there by Jaedong, preventing the scout. Furthermore, LeenocK is denied information. He must be starting to, worry a little bit here, and I think he is with the Spine Crawler coming down, but still, no gas is being taken. He is opting purely for a mineral-only defense here, which will be, as you mentioned, a wall, Queens, Spine Crawler. Jaedong, though, he's actually going to take all 4 gases at once. There's no need to, you know, just take 2 gases here, 1 gas there. No, he'll drone up as intensively as he can, take all 4 gases, and have the best physical economy he could get.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about the aggression. There, as you say, all 4 gases being taken by Jaedong. LeenocK taking 2 in his main base, but like you said, he has to play a little bit more conservatively. The Zerglings from Jaedong trying to poke up the front. He sees the Spine Crawler, and even just seeing that as Jaedong, you're like, okay, well, that's a little bit comforting. You know he invested in that, and that's not going to be money that can go towards anything like drones or additional economy.
And he even sees the gas timing of his opponent. This is a perfect position for Jaedong to be in. Unfortunately, just from such a simple thing, an overload going in the wrong direction, Jaedong's found himself in a brilliant position where he's able to get double evolution chamber down. He's going to upgrade first. You know what? I don't even think he's going to get Zergling speed. Why the hell would you at this point? He just goes straight for your Roach upgrades, goes straight for the lair, and Jaedong is playing like there was not another player in this game. He's getting the best economy, he's getting the best upgrades, he'll have the strongest army, and this is all through just simple information that's been gathered.
And we see this as both players start the lair. Those evolution chambers are so much faster from Jaedong. Look at the gas that he has banked, as both players are in very similar infrastructure setups, but that little bit of extra earlier gas that Jaedong could squeeze out has that 1-1 starting just a bit sooner. We see that the Roach Warren is coming in for both players, and with the Queens blocking off, it's not like either of them have to worry about being attacked, but like you said earlier, LeenocK's actually getting his Zergling speed just in case.
Yeah, I mean, he's still not sure what Jaedong's going for at this point. He has no idea. And what that will also mean is that Jaedong will be able to take a faster third base, which we see now being planted down. And that's just slightly south of Jaedong's natural. Everything Jaedong is doing, he is doing it 30 seconds faster than his opponent. And that will always be the case until LeenocK starts to figure out what's exactly going on. And to be honest, I think that's starting to happen now. There's been no aggression. I mean, he can basically tell that this is the case, and unfortunately he's going to play a little bit from behind, just a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see once LeenocK kind of fully grasps the situation of the game, what kind of fine-tuned changes is he going to make to try to get himself back in or get a bit of an edge. 16 Zerglings on the production tab. He is getting that speed. I think sniping this third base could be a very big first step in trying to claw things towards being a bit more even. If
he gets the snipe on that base, he is ahead in the game, I'd say. Or at least would start to get ahead in the game. That's very important. But there's 14 Roaches out. This should not be the case. Let's see, though. Jaedong spots the Zerglings there with that overload, so he should be able to move his Roaches into position. And very easily should be able to deny this.
Yeah, he's coming in with the Zerglings, actually backing off against these Roaches, so not able to really find that foothold. The 1-1's also about to complete for Jaedong. Both players reasonably close in their Roach speed. We do see Burrow being researched for LeenocK, so he's going to have that option to either heal the Roaches faster or try to use some sort of surprise tactic play, maybe even for harassing the mineral lines with the Roaches. And Jaedong's coming up to bring some pressure. That Spine Crawler helping out quite a bit. The Queens are here to transfuse as well, and he's usually using the Overlord to drive a creep highway to his opponent's base just so his units can get there even a little bit faster.
Jaedong's looking for a bit of damage here. He's looking to see if he can do a lot. He's already been 30 seconds ahead for the majority of the game. Can he land a striking blow? He goes in, picks off a Queen. He's got to be careful not to get surrounded from those Zerglings. But as you said, a creep highway, a consistent wave of Roaches, very simply just coming across the map. He has a 10-20 supply difference. That's a good 10 Roaches difference because they're basically on the same drone count. A good lead here for Jaedong, but is he going to find the opportunity to break through somewhere?
That's the question. He's starting to step in towards the natural, actually using that burrow to try to save some of these Roaches with a little bit of micro as he does get a nice bit of an arch. Some of these Roaches moving around behind for Jaedong. He's just going to step forward, continuing to rally down this creep highway. Jaedong able to bring his own Queens for the transfuses and try to get a good position on here. The Roach count is so close between the two of these. Is the Queen going to be able to make enough of a difference with this push?
I think the first initial fight there wasn't the best for Jaedong, and LeenocK will push this back. It's such a small difference between both the players, and LeenocK seems to be holding on for now. Another retreat back as Spine Crawler moves down. Numbers very close if you look at the supply at the south side, but we do have LeenocK pushing ahead with an attack upgrade. If he's able to continue forward without losing a lot, remember he does have that burrow which he invested in, which also lowered his unit count. If he's able to get towards that +2, things could change.
I mean, it's really nice that he can just heal his roaches up a bit more quickly between the battles, as we can see some of these from Jaedong a little bit more scarred than LeenocK, and even that can be enough to survive a couple extra hits, but Jaedong's up here, he's got 2 queens and his overseer, he's just going for it, getting right on top of this army, continuing to rally forth. The roach count standing strong for LeenocK, actually, with a little bit of a lead, trying to force more out. He does have the defender's advantage despite the creep highway, and Jaedong's transfuses are not going to be enough. LeenocK shoves Jaedong back.
And I think this might be a bit of a game of tug and war. Now LeenocK's winning. He's going to go to the other side of the map, and I think he's just going to go grab the win. Jaedong lost way too much. This is a mirror matchup when you have almost identical setups when it comes to the unit count here. One big swing, one big difference between the both of them. It can mean everything, especially with that +2. It has been slowed down by Contaminate for a little bit here, but LeenocK has taken a massive lead, and unfortunately Jaedong, who is the aggressor with his lead, did not find a weakness, did not find a hole, and to be honest, made a couple of engagement mistakes would have given LeenocK the lead.
Yeah, he's trying to just press in now using the sheer numbers advantage that he has. 40 roaches versus 21. LeenocK, he's just got so much more than Jaedong pressing in. There's not too much he can do about this. He's trying to put up additional roaches, but that +2s, he said, it's going to be done first for LeenocK, and he's just going to swath forward, even getting